Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya Astottara Satashishimad, ISKCON founder Acharya's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem Shigaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Shri Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Brajabhumi Brindavan Dham ki, Shri Mayapur ki, Ganga Mai ki, Jamuna Mai ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Tulsi Maharani ki, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskricha Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Sarasvatim Vyasan Tatorayamudhirayat Nasta Preshu Abadeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for coming to glorify Lord Nityananda on the very auspicious Nityananda Trayodashi. Lord Nityananda, of course, is an incarnation, or the incarnation, of Lord Balaram here in the Kali Yuga. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishna Sangopangasya Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtaye Prayir Yajantihi Sumedasha. So Lord Krishna comes in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Duti Sabalita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. He is Krishna himself, and he comes with Lord Nityananda, Advaita Charya, who is Karanadaksha Vishnu, Gadadhar, who is a partial expansion of Radharani, and Srivas Thakur, who is Lord Narada Muni. So in the Adi Leela 5th chapter, describes that Lord Nityananda is Lord Balaram, who is the source of the various Purusha avatars. He's also the source of Mahasankarshan, and he's also the source of Lord Shesh. He manifests in these 5 forms: Karanadaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Shiradaksha Vishnu, Mahashankarshan, and Sheshanag, who acts as the bed of Lord Vishnu. But in the Kali Yuga, he is more merciful than all the other avatars. You can say he's even more merciful than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Mahavadanyaya avatar. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always in anxiety to see that these conditioned souls were all patanti narake sucha. They're all gliding down to the hellish planets. They don't know the depth of their sinful activities. Kapila Dev explains in the 30th chapter of Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, that the living entity foolishly goes through life accumulating wealth by some questionable procedures, cheating, robbing, lying. And at the time of death, the constables of Yamaraj come and take him out of his gross body and take him down to Maharurava, Andatamishra, 28 hellish areas in the lower planetary systems. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord, he is very, very traumatized by all these persons who have taken this human form of life, but in their next life, mudo jonisu jayate, they take birth in the animal species in their next life. Tata pralinas tamasa mudho yonisu jayate. Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter. So, of course, Haridas Thakur, who is none other than Lord Brahma, he describes, given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Harinam Chintamani, that Gauranga Mahaprabhu, when you're going through Jharkhand forest, when you're chanting, that echo of your chanting is actually the non-moving living entities chanting Hare Krishna. And this Hare Krishna is so powerful that whoever chants it, at that point, they become free from more sinful activities that they can ever commit in millions of lifetimes. So Lord Nityananda was instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you stay in Bengal and you distribute this holy name door to door. Nitai Padakamala Koti Chandra Shushita Echaya Jagadjuraya Hino Vino Nite Bai Radha Krishna Poitinai. Lord Nityananda is so merciful that his mercy is compared to, his lotus feet are compared to millions and millions of soothing moons. The moon is very soothing, and it is very, very highly appreciated by all living beings. Krishna says, I enter into the moon and supply the nutritious juices to all the vegetables and vegetation. So Lord Nityananda is extremely merciful. Without his mercy, one could never enter into the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Heno vino nite bai Radha Krishna poitinai. Narottam Das Thakur says, unless you get the dust from the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, how can you ever understand these divine loving affairs of Radha and Krishna inherent in the forests of Vrindavan, the 12 forests of Vrindavan, where Krishna is engaged in loving transcendental pastimes with the gopis of Vrindavan, with the inhabitants of Vrindavan, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, the cowherd boys. Nitya Leela, these pastimes are going on as we speak here in Vrindavan. Pramanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochinena Sada Sadevi Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shamasundaram Achinta Guna Swarupam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That one's eyes have to be anointed with the salve of Prema Bhakti. Prema Bhakti means devoid of all desires, all contaminations, subtle desires, gross desires. The heart has to be pure so that when one chants the holy name, Vishuddhanam, one chants Suddhanam, pure name, without any offenses. So these things can only be brought by the grace of Lord Nityananda. He is Adi Guru. He is Supreme Personality of Godhead, servitorship. He is God. There's no difference between him and Krishna. First expansion of Krishna. Except for some bodily color, bodily structure, there is absolutely no difference between Lord Nityananda or Lord Balaram and Krishna. So he's known as Avaduta Nityananda because he's quite humorous. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting the names of the gopis in Navadvip, Nimai Pandit, many students started criticizing him and blasting him. And so he decided, well, I have to take sannyas, because sannyas is the highest position in the Varnashram system, and people are a little more careful about offending the devotees. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we know he crossed the river, the Ganges, at Nirdoya. Nirdoya means one who has no mercy. He left his mother. She was standing there like a statue. Where is my Nimai? And he went to Katwa and he took initiation, sannyas initiation from Keshav Bharati. Lord Nityananda was accompanying him. And then they decided to go towards Shantipur after Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, shaved his head. So they were traveling, walking to Shantipur in a place called Radhadesh. And there at Radhadesh, as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was walking along the Ganges River, he saw a cowherd boy who was blowing on a buffalo horn. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately came into a trance, ecstatic trance. He fell on the ground. Oh, I'm in Vrindavan. The cowherd boy is blowing on his horn, his buffalo horn, and he entered into Vrindavan within internal consciousness. Lord Nityananda, when he came back out of internal consciousness, Lord Nityananda, yes, you're in Vrindavan. Lord Nityananda, am I in Vrindavan? And as they were walking, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mistook the Ganges River for the Yamuna River. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, oh, Yamuna, there you are. And he jumped into Yamuna River with all his clothes on. Meanwhile, Lord Nityananda had sent a cowherd boy to the house of Advaita Charya. And he had told Advaita Charya to bring fresh clothing. So as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came out of the water dripping wet, Advaita Charya was coming on his boat, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what are you doing in Vrindavan? Advaita, what are you doing in Vrindavan? And Advaita Charya said, actually, I come to bring you to my house in Shantipur and feed you. Nice prasad, cooked by Sita Thakurani. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very angry. This Nityananda has cheated me. Advaita Charya said, no. Actually, at Varanasi, the Yamuna River flows on the west side and meets with the Ganga on the east side. And they flow through this area together into Ganga Sagar. And so you were actually on the western side, you were taking bath in the Yamuna. And wherever you are, wherever the Yamuna is, there is Vrindavan. Wherever you are is Vrindavan. So in this way, he convinced Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to forgive Lord Nityananda. So they went to the Shantipur, to the house of Advaita Charya. We have to be very grateful for Advaita Charya. He preceded Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. And he was sitting by the Ganga, worshipping Shalagram Shila with Tulsi and Ganga Jal. And he was roaring at the top of his lungs, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is Kali Yuga. It is time to come and deliver all the fallen souls. All the fallen souls are in such depth of ignorance here in this Kali Yuga. Nate vidus artagatimi Vishnu durashraye bahir artamanina. They're always looking outside of themselves for pleasure and happiness. Nate vidu swa arta. They don't know what their self-interest is. He Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, or Krishna, is the real self-interest of the bewildered soul. And they can only get this mercy in Kali Yuga. Kali Kalir Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar. Nama Hoiteha Sarva Jagat Nishtar. The whole universe will be delivered by this chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Only in this way can one become delivered. So much darkness, so much conflict, so much ignorance. People are lost and bewildered by the modes, the lower modes of nature. So Lord Nityananda, he is so merciful that even when Jagai Madai attacked him and broke his head with the clay pot, he forgave them. And of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to kill them with Sudarshan Chakra. But Lord Nityananda intervened. So between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the fallen souls, we have Nityananda. He is extremely merciful. He is full of forgiveness. He never takes offense. But if someone offends a Vaishnava, then of course he becomes very angry. As in the case of Ramachandra Khan. In Benapola, Haridas Thakur, he was chanting 300,000 names of God every day. Nityananda and Haridas are very close. They would go door to door around Navadvip and begging. The only alms we beg is that you chant Hare Krishna. And of course, the atheistic Brahmins who thought they were so sophisticated and aristocratic, they would keep their doors closed. But Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur would take all risks. They were being chased by Jaghai Madhai, who were drunkards, murderers, rapists, the lowest of the low. And they were chasing Haridas and Nityananda because Nityananda approached them to give the mercy. Please take the holy name. Please take the holy name. And Haridas Thakur was saying, as they were running, he was saying, "You are a madman. What are you doing? You're going to get us killed." Like this, Abhayam, devotees of the Lord, we see that Srila Prabhupada, who was empowered by the Lord, fearlessly went to the most hostile place in the world. People, Prabhupada said, they're so covered by passion and ignorance. Why has Krishna brought me here? So, Srila Prabhupada, empowered by Lord Nityananda, took a boat, cargo boat, Jaladuta, and so now we have this great successful movement of the mission of Lord Chaitanya. So when Nityananda and Chaitanya went to the house of Advaita Acharya, he sat them down and a beautiful feast was prepared by Sita Thakurani. Wonderful vegetables. Krishnadas Kaviraj describes all the wonderful preparations that were made. So many different kinds of shuktas, amrita keli, so many sweets. So many wonderful preparations were made. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting there taking prasad. Nityananda was next to him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, "I've taken sannyas, don't give me so much." But every time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would take a little prasad, Advaita Acharya would refill his plate again. Banana leaves were eating off of banana plates. In contradiction to this, Nityananda was telling Advaita Acharya, "I have been fasting for 3 days coming from Katwa, and you have not half filled my belly." And Advaita Acharya, he was imitating a Smarta Brahmin. He's saying, "You are a guest in my house. You're breaking all my smriti regulations. You should accept whatever I offer you. Why are you behaving like this? You're a reject Paramahansa." Of course, this is actually a kind of adoration of Lord Nityananda, that he is Paramahansa. So this humorous exchange was going on between Advaita Acharya and Nityananda. And Nityananda kept saying, I've been fasting for 3 days. Why have you given me such small amount of prasadam? Advaita Acharya was calling him a reject Paramahansa. So then angrily, Lord Nityananda took some rice and he threw it on the floor, and some of the pieces of rice bounced off the floor and caught on to Lord Advaita Acharya's body. And Advaita Acharya went into ecstasy and he started dancing in ecstasy, getting the mercy. He was inducing from Lord Nityananda some mercy. So after this, the two brothers, Chaitanya Nitai, they were given a place to lie down, and Advaita Acharya offered them betel nuts and nice chandan to cool them down. And then in the courtyard of Advaita Charya, a great kirtan proceeded. Huge kirtan was going on. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in ecstasy. All the devotees were coming from Navadvip. All the famous devotees, Mukunda Datta, Rakreshwar Pandit, all the great devotees were there. And this went on and on and on. Lord Chaitanya was in complete ecstasy. Finally, Sachi Mata was brought there in a palanquin. And she saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my Nima, his beautiful hair has been shaved. And she was crying. And she sat down on the ground, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, you are my mother. Actually, Sachi is none other than Mother Yashoda. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell down in her lap, and he said, what have I done? I owe my life to you. What have I done? You tell me where I should stay, where I should live. So, of course, as a sannyasi, he shouldn't live with his mother in Navadvip or Mayapur. So she gave permission. The Jagannath Puri and Mayapur are like 2 rooms in the same house. So you please stay in Puri, and then I can get news of you every year when the Bengal devotees go to participate in the Rath Yatra festival. So in this way, for 10 days, Nitai and Chaitanya, Nitai and Nimai, they engaged in wonderful Sankirtan festival, and a huge feast every day was prepared for them, and Mother Sachi, she was very satisfied. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, when you cook for me, I will always come to your house in my unmanifest form. Chaitanya every day would go and take part of the cooking of Sachi Mata. So this is one wonderful pastime of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the house of Advaita Charya. Then we know that Lord Nityananda has to be approached in order to Yasya Prasadad Bhagavat Prasado Yasya Prasadad Nakati Kathopi. One has to first please Guru Tattva, Lord Nityananda, to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so Raghunath Das was the son of a very wealthy man, Govardhan Majumdar. They were zamindars. Govardhan and Hiranya Majumdar were collecting gold coins for the Muslim Shah, the Emperor of Bengal. And of course, sometimes they would steal some of it. They would misappropriate some of the coins. They were supposed to collect 1.2 lakhs, 12 lakhs of coins, but they were taking more than that. They were taking 15 lakhs. Anyway, Raghunath Das, he was always trying to escape from his home and go to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri. But every time he ran or tried to run away, his father's guards would capture him and tie him up with ropes. And so he decided, let me approach Lord Nityananda to get the mercy. So Lord Nityananda was in a place called Panihati, along the Ganges River, near to Calcutta nowadays. And he was sitting on a rock, surrounded by his devotees, all incarnations of cowherd boys. And he looked like the effulgent moon sitting there. So Raghunath Das, from a distance, he approached Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda said, you're like a thief, you're hiding from me. Why don't you come here? And so Lord Nityananda got up and he approached him. And as Raghunath Das offered prostrated obeisances, Lord Nityananda put his lotus feet on his head. Naisham matistava durukramam grim sprishatya anartha moyadartha. Mahiya sampada rajobhishekam niskinchananam navrinitayavad. Sukadeva Goswami says, unless you get the dust from the lotus feet of a great devotee of the Lord, Niskinchananam, one who is absolutely devoid of any material desire, he is full of prema bhakti, pure love of God. If you can find someone like that, you must take the dust from his lotus feet and put it on your head. Then you will get the full mercy of the great acharyas. So this is the process, how to please Guru, how to please the great Mahashayans, the great Mahabhagavats, to get the dust from the lotus feet. One time, Prabhupada said, if you want to get the dust, the mercy of Lord Nityananda, you have to approach Jagai Madai. And he said that, in fact, every time we were with Srila Prabhupada, at the end of his class, he would always say, therefore, I am emphasizing, distribute my books, distribute my books, distribute my books. So this book distribution is also Sankirtan Yagya. It is the glorification of the Lord in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and so on. And Srila Prabhupada said, these books are incarnations of Lord Krishna, Lord Narayan, and that Krishna wrote these books. So Prabhupada would always emphasize the preaching mission of the holy name, distributing the holy name, distributing Krishna Katha in the form of these books, Srimad Bhagavatam, the rising sun of Srimad Bhagavatam, which will dissipate the ignorance in this age of Kali. So to get the mercy of the great acharyas, of who Lord Nityananda is the original Guru Tattva, we have to distribute this message of Srila Prabhupada, of Sukadeva Goswami, of Veda Vyasadeva. So Raghunath Das got the mercy of Lord Nityananda because he was very, very humble, and he's known as renunciation personified. He gave up his beautiful wife. He gave up his wealthy family. He had the wealth of the King of Heaven. His wife was compared to a beautiful angel of the heavenly planets, Apsara. But he gave it all up. Vairagya Vijja Nija Bhakti Yoga, Shiksharsham Eka Purusha Purana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dari, Kripambudur Yastam Mahampapadye. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to teach Rina, detachment, Vairagya, detachment from any material possessiveness, detachment from the material world. Vidya, knowledge, renunciation, knowledge, and pure devotional service, prema bhakti. Devotional service, bhaktistu ananyaya shakya, ahamevam vidorjuna. Krishna says, you can only enter the mysteries of my understanding by ananyaya bhakti, devotion without any tinge, any tarnish of material ambitions, material desires, and so on. So Lord Nityananda, he said to Raghunath Das, I order you, I punish you. You have to organize the Panihati festival, Chidadahi Mahotsav, chip rice festival. Take the money that you have and buy all the ingredients and organize a large chip rice and yogurt, chip rice and condensed milk festival. Feed all the Vaishnavas. This is the secret of success. Serve the Vaishnavas. We're all servants. Gopi Bhattu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Das Anudas. We're all trying to serve the Vaishnavas, trying to avoid offending Sadhu Nindana. Don't offend the Vaishnava, even if he is a brand new devotee, Kanishta Adhikari, may not be very advanced. We have to be very careful with this Sadhu Nindana. So Raghunath Das organized, he was buying from all the keepers of rice, special bananas, special ingredients, and pots of sweet rice, condensed milk, and flat rice, chip rice, and yogurt and chip rice were prepared. And Vaishnavas were coming from all the various villages to Panihati. And it was so crowded that some of them were sitting in the Ganga eating their pots of chip rice yogurt, chip rice condensed milk. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so attracted that he appeared in his upper caste. Ram could see him, Raghunath Das could see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Nityananda was walking along through all the different Vaishnavas, and he was taking their remnants and feeding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. God himself was taking the remnants of his devotees. He is Bhakta Vatsalya. If you want to be Krishna to be your property, Krishna is only purchased by your pure devotion, nothing else. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is accepting from his servants, and Lord Nityananda was feeding him. And of course Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would reciprocate and take the remnants of the devotees and feed Nityananda. Then Raghava Pandit appeared, and Raghava Pandit invited Lord Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, come to my house later on tonight, you can come to my house. And Raghava Pandit's sister, Damayanti, she was a very great cook. It says that Radharani, she lived in the kitchen of Raghava Pandit's house because Damayanti was such a famous cook. She was empowered by Radharani to cook wonderful preparations, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would receive these preparations every year when devotees came from Bengal. They would bring Raghaveri Jali, bags of prasadam cooked by Damayanti, Raghava Pandit's sister. So Raghava Pandit is also a very great devotee of the Lord. So there's very humorous activities were going on with Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda at the Chittadahi Mahotsav in Panihati. And later that night, Lord Nityananda went to the house of Raghava Pandit for more prasadam. So Prabhupada said, this is the movement of chanting, dancing, and eating prasadam. It's a very wonderful movement. We offer prasadam, we dance and chant, and make people happy. The whole world can become very blissful and happy by this performance of Sankirtan and the partaking of prasadam. So when Lord Nityananda went to the house of Raghava Pandit, he was given again more prasadam, and then after that, he started dancing in the house of Raghava Pandit. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to 4 places. One of those places is Srivas, the garden of Srivas Thakur's house, where he would perform nocturnal kirtan. He would also go wherever Lord Nityananda was engaged in dancing and chanting, then he would go to that place. So Lord Chaitanya appeared there invisibly, and to see the wonderful, beautiful dancing of Lord Nityananda. Nityananda Avaduta Ki. So this is the story of Mahotsav. After that, we know about the fact that Ramachandra Khan was very envious of devotees. He was the leader of a village in Benapola, and because Haridas Thakur was becoming very famous for his wonderful chanting of the holy name, his love for the holy name, chanting 300,000 names of God every day, Ramachandra Khan became very envious, and he decided, I am going to destroy Haridas Thakur. I'm going to scandalize his name. So he organized a young prostitute to go and seduce Haridas Thakur. And we know that Haridas Thakur, he converted this young lady to pure devotional service. And she would shave her head and give away all her properties and chanted 300,000 names as well. So Lord Nityananda, after this, Haridas Thakur, he left Benapola and he walked to Shantipur, and Advaita Acharya arranged for his accommodations there. So Nityananda appeared at this village of Benapola, and he went with his followers, to the house of Ramachandra Khan. Ramachandra Khan, being very envious, he said, "Oh, this fellow, don't let him in. Just let him stay outside where the Durga Mandap is." There was a place where the Durga Mandap. And so Lord Nityananda laughed and said, "This place is not worthy of even meat eaters, milechas and yavanas." And he left in a huff with his devotees. Ramachandra Khan was actually stealing money from the government. So the high officials, they sent soldiers to his village a few days later, and they destroyed the entire village, and they took a cow and slaughtered it right on the Durga Mandapa, and they destroyed all his relatives, everything, the whole village was reduced to ashes. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that when we offend the great devotee of the Lord, not only does the person who offended suffer, all his relatives, all his associates, his whole social circle, everyone will suffer from this, this offense against the great devotee of the Lord. So Ramachandra Khan was indirectly chastised by Lord Nityananda. Very important example here that we should be very careful in our dealings with the devotees. In fact, a devotee of the Lord doesn't even offend non-devotees. He always approaches in great humility. Tateno kampam shishamikshamano bunjani vatmakritam vibhakam rigvag vapubir vidadan namaste jivetiyo mukti pade sadayabhat. Devotional service is not always smooth traveling, smooth sailing. Many times Krishna will present so many different obstacles on the path of devotional service. But we accept it as reactions to our previous sinful activities or previous offenses. And we tolerate, expecting the mercy of the Lord. The Lord is our friend, our master, and our protector. These three things, we have to recognize him. So Haridas Thakur was being offended. Devotees sometimes, we go through very much difficulty. But in this verse, if we tolerate and depend on Krishna, then jiveta yumukti pade sadayabhat, we will always expect the mercy of Krishna, and he will protect us in all situations. So in this way, Haridas Thakur was protected in so many ways by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's described in the biography of Lord Nityananda that also he used to swim in the Ganges River with crocodiles. And he would slap the crocodiles, and the local people were, "Who is this Nitai? He's slapping in the river Ganges." So this is described in the So Lord Nityananda, every year, he would appear, he'd go with the Bengali devotees to Puri to observe the Rath Yatra festival. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would keep telling him, "Why are you coming? I have delegated you as the chief preacher in Navadvip in Nadia. You must go and distribute this holy name all over Nadia and drown everyone in love of Godhead." In Adi Leela chapter 7, it describes how Panchatattva would dance and chant in ecstasy and drown everyone in this ocean of Krishna prema. Those who were qualified or unqualified, they didn't care. Those who didn't drown, they were floating in the ocean of love of God. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was quite annoyed that Nityananda would always come to Puri every year and engage in the Rath Yatra festival. So Shivananda Sena, he was a very advanced devotee, very confidential associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he would organize for all the payments on the toll booths on the road to Puri. At one time, as he was paying the toll, he became delayed at the toll booth, and Nityananda and the other devotees were waiting in the nearby village, neighboring village. And Lord Nityananda was sitting in a cow shed waiting. He said, "This Shivananda Sena, why is he making me wait so long?" Actually, Nityananda is a very colorful personality, he's Avadhuta. So when he's angry, it's actually a benediction on that devotee. So he was very angry. He was feigning anger at Shivananda Sena, who was extremely humble. So when Shivananda Sena approached him after the delay, Nityananda got up and said, "I curse your three sons to die," and he kicked him. Shivananda Sena. He kicked Shivananda Sena and cursed his three sons to die. And Shivananda said, "Oh, today all my millions of lifetimes of pious activities and austerity have come to fruition. I've been touched by the lotus feet of Nityananda Avadhuta." And Shivananda Sena's wife was crying. Srikanta Sena, the nephew of Shivananda Sena, became angry and left the party. And Shivananda Sena told his wife, "Oh, foolish woman, why are you... Lord Nityananda has benedicted me. He's benedicted our whole family. How don't you understand?" Like this. So in this way, Shivananda Sena got special mercy from Lord Nityananda. So sometimes we know Ashlishyava Padaratam Panashtamam Darshanam. Sometimes the Lord may treat me, embrace me roughly. I may be suffering from his embrace, but I still accept him as my Lord unconditionally, birth after birth. I don't even want mukti, salokya mukti, sharishta mukti, all the various types of muktis. I simply want pure devotional service, birth after birth. So sometimes Lord Nityananda may seem cruel, but this is special mercy given to devotees. So during the dancing of Lord Chaitanya at the Rath Yatra, Lord Nityananda would sometimes have to hold Chaitanya Mahaprabhu up. He was manifesting all the 8 symptoms of love of God. Tears were flowing from his eyes in a syringe form. His hairs were standing on end, and his skin would erupt, and he'd look like a silk cotton tree, a thorn tree. Sometimes he'd be rolling on the ground like a golden Mount Sumeru, it's described, like a golden mountain. So Lord Nityananda sometimes would have to grab him and hold him. He was lost in ecstasy of love of God. So Lord Nityananda was always there to assist Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during the dancing of Rath Yatra. So these are some of the wonderful pastimes of Lord Nityananda. So today we should beg for his mercy, take shelter of him. It's an opportunity to get special mercy of Lord Nityananda, the Guru Tattva, the original Guru. He is also manifests as all the paraphernalia. The holy Dham, Mayapur Dham, is a manifestation of Lord Nityananda. He's a very great personality. Yasyaika nishpashite katamatavalamyam jivete loma vilaja andanata. That he is the source of Karanadaksha Vishnu, from whom all the universes emanate from the pores of his body. Jivanti Loma Vilaja, Vijayandanatha. All the Lord Brahmas are coming out with their universes from Karanadaksha Vishnu, and Lord Nityananda or Lord Balaram is the source of Karanadaksha Vishnu. So we're so fortunate that we are able to receive the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So we must always think how to become Krishna conscious and how to give it to the fallen souls. Devotee is always very compassionate. Karunya is very, very compassionate to see these fallen souls who may seemingly be very powerful and successful, but at the time of death we know that the Yamadutas come. Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti yamalayam shesha stavram ichanti kimascharya matapuram. That step by step everyone is walking, moving towards the courtyard of Lord Yamaraj. Every human being are there, most of them, 99% of the people are wasting their time pursuing material pleasure, material this, material that, material comforts, not knowing who they are. So our only business is this missionary, this spreading of the Sankirtan movement throughout the world. Kirtanadiva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Paramvajet. Simply by this kirtan, this Sankirtan Yagya, performance of Sankirtan Yagya in the form of distribution of the holy name, of prasadam, of Srila Prabhupada's wonderful writings, people will be changed. They will become purified. If Jaga and Madai could become purified, what to speak of others? There is no qualification. Lord Nityananda gives mercy to anyone, regardless of how low they are, how demoniac they are. He will approach them and give them mercy because they realize the predicament that these souls are in here in this age of Kali. Kali is very, very powerful, and he's running roughshod throughout the whole world, convincing everyone, come and be my servant. Take shelter of me, Kali. Take shelter of me. So we have to please the Lords and please the Guru Tattva, Lord Nityananda, and then our lives will become successful. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Lord Nityananda. Hare Krishna. What's next?
Janardana Maharaj next.
Janardana Maharaj, okay.
He's so accurate, right at 9 o'clock. Look at that, so perfect.
Haribol.
Can we request